That's up to you. I don't know how long he'll be.
I know. We've already given that. Maybe we should start. Let's just start.
One more minute.
All right.
6:34.
Yeah,
We'll
give him
him
6:35.
1
Give him 5 minutes. Yeah.
We'll bring the meeting to order. Bob, when you call roll, please.
Mr. McNulty.
Here.
Ms. Trabellis.
Here.
Mr. Beer. Here. Ms. Foster.
Here.
And Mr. Pierce will join us momentarily.
And you have the staff report, because I know there's been some things taking place with this.
I do. All right. So we are here for rezoning case ZON-23-02. The applicant is Dog Distilling Company. They're requesting a rezoning for property located at 3773 East Powell Road. The applicant is requesting to rezone approximately 3.282 acres from the current planned commercial and office district to a new planned commercial and office district to allow for the operation of a distillery for spirituous liquor, tasting room, and bar. Again, the property is currently zoned planned commercial district under rezoning case 16744 and was also approved in 2004 for the sole use and operation of a Christmas shop. In 2016, the property was granted a use variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals, allowing for a separate use for a paint-your-own pottery and art retail business. The property is surrounded to the north, south, and east by farm residential, and to the west also farm residential, as well as properties located within the City of Columbus jurisdiction. On the second page of the staff report, you can see the applicant's development plan, as well as a brief summary of the rezoning request. So in terms of development standards, we'll start off by talking about setbacks. Section 21.10 of the Orange Township zoning resolution requires that any non-residential use abutting a residential district be located no closer than 100 feet from any lot line. The property itself is at points less than 200 feet in width, meaning that parts of this property would be undevelopable since the uses would be considered non-residential. And a divergence from this section of the zoning resolution has been requested by the applicants. The minimum required front yard setback, as noted in section 21.09 of the zoning resolution, is 70 feet from Powell Road. The current building on the site exceeds this requirement, and the proposed improvements would be located to the rear of the existing building, meeting the 70-yard setback. The proposed setback from the north property line is 40 feet, and the proposed setback from the southern property line is 75 feet. Again, divergences are requested and required for these setbacks because they are less than the 100 feet that would be required. There are a total of 5 divergences requested by the applicant. The first one is from section 14.06E, requesting a divergence from the planning requirements since the applicant is not proposing to split the current parcel or record any major easements for access or utilities. Planning is typically accomplished through Delaware County Regional Planning, but we do have the requirement in our code. But since regional planning will not require a platting, they request this divergence to not plat the site. Section 21.01E, the applicant is requesting a divergence for number of parking spaces as the business does not fit into our listed categories for the minimum parking space requirements. So we do not have distillery and tasting room listed as one of the uses that we have exact parking counts for. So this is just a divergence to reflect that what they're requesting is not necessarily in our predetermined bucket list. They are requesting divergences for setbacks from 21.10 of the zoning resolution, requesting a divergence for north and south setbacks as the width of the property is less than the combined setbacks from each side. 2 more divergences are requested from 21.12E, requesting a divergence to allow for lighting fixture at the peak of the production building, approximately 25 to 28 feet in height, and for lighting the sign proposed on the production building, and a divergence from section 22.03C, requesting a divergence to allow for the wall sign to be located on the production building to exceed the maximum allowable height of 15 feet. In terms of open space and landscaping, total open space provided is 2.95 acres, or roughly 89.9% of the site, which well exceeds the minimum requirements for open space in the planned commercial district. For parking, there are currently 13 spaces existing. The site plan proposed shows up to 31 spaces. For lighting, no lighting plan has been submitted with the application. I will note that at the time that this staff report was written, we had not received any lighting plan. The applicants did provide a lighting plan later, I believe last week, so we do have that on file. It is still missing a few of the foot candle requirements that we require for our lighting plan, but the applicant has submitted one. And if they did not, a lighting plan would need to be submitted, or a divergence would be required from section 14.06B4 to require the lighting plan. There are currently 4 street lamps next to the existing parking lot, which will be altered and painted black. Also existing are 2 path lights near the sidewalks that will be replaced with a similar style light. Again, as I mentioned before, there is one divergence requested to allow for the exterior lighting on the building to exceed the 20-foot maximum height requirement. For signage, one sign is proposed to be installed at a height greater than the maximum 15 feet that is allowed. Again, a divergence is requested for this. No signage plan has been submitted with the application. So they would just have to follow the standard Orange Township signage regulations laid out in section 21 of the zoning resolution. For the Orange Township Comprehensive Plan, the 2018 Comprehensive Land Use Plan does identify this property to be within sub-area 7 and shows it as commercial. Recommendations within this sub-area consist of preserving the deep ravines as common open spaces and not allowing developments within the flood. For public comment, we did receive one email from the property owner to the north for Acorn Farms, which the applicant has included as part of their application in support of the divergence for reduced setbacks. We did also receive one email from a neighbor last night, which I forwarded to you all earlier today, and you also have a printed copy in front of you. Additional staff comments, we would like to see details or at least architectural standards for the dumpster enclosure on the site. The applicant would need to provide a lighting plan, which they have done. However, we will need more details on the lighting plan. And our third comment is that the divergences for sign height and for lighting height should reference specific numbers and not approximations. So if for example, if the lighting is going to be 25 to 28 feet, we would recommend that you ask for a specific height requirement instead of just an approximation. For technical review from other agencies, the Orange Township Fire Department, at least as of now, the fire department has not reviewed or commented on this application. I believe the applicant has a meeting set up with Fire Inspector Lieutenant Mike Clark in the coming week. I believe the applicant can also address that during their presentation. Delaware County Regional Planning Commission did hear this application at their May 25th hearing. They issued their recommendation of conditional approval subject to 4 conditions. 1, that lights must be cutoff type and no light trespasses onto neighboring properties. 2, an open space plan must be submitted that delineates open space. The applicant has provided that in their most recent submittal. Number 3, to ensure site acreage is accurate and consistent on all plan sheets. The applicant did provide additional documentation making the site acreage consistent. And then 4, a lighting plan must be submitted. For Orange Township staff, we do recommend approval of this application, provided that staff comments are addressed to the satisfaction of the Zoning Commission, and that the applicant continues to work with the Orange Township Fire Department to ensure that their requirements are met. That is all I have at this time. I believe the applicants are here. If they would like to make a brief presentation to the Commission, and we can open it up for questions.
Wesley Stark, 109 Zoe Portland.
Well, I'll introduce them. Kevin's my husband, this is the same. Kelly is Wes. I'll try to keep this short. You obviously did a great overview, but I'll kind of give you the reason we even want to do this, right? We're clearly not youngsters. We're in our empty. We're already empty nest. They'll soon be. We wanted to do. We all work. We all have full-time jobs. We wanted to do something that we could enjoy. Also, that we could make our own money versus our. So we thought, who needs retirement? And that was the perfect time to enter a highly regulated industry, like liquor. So anyway, but it's really, we want to get back to the community. Our current goals don't really do that, and we want to be good neighbors in that sense. But we're looking to have a destination, which brings together the neighbors, brings together, the whole Columbus community, which neighbors are here. We want to join that to bring, as we grow. The intent is to hire, kind of employment. This lot in particular, I think probably everybody knows the old. That's usually how we say, if they don't know the address, they're like, the old, oh, I know what you're talking about. It's not, as you can see, ideal location for building. The setbacks, for example, as Robin said, it's not even 200 wide. Have a 100-foot setback on each side. But if you've not heard of or anything, the Galaxy at Polaris, which is around this week, is coming in right across the street. So for a location like this to come up, where we can be, where traffic is already going to be coming in, Galaxy is almost. So that's kind of why we picked the location. But we really just want a place where the community can come, enjoy themselves, make friends, relax after a hectic day. Don't know in our jobs, that's the place we go currently. So we want to be able to find.
Yeah, no, I think you said everything right. We're not developers. Our first goal, fell in love with this DPD 70 school. We want to keep it. Make this functional, we have to add. We're in stage one. You can see about the same width as a schoolhouse. First, Acorn Farms and Allen Creek. Now we are in a bit of a hardship in that a lot of the property is developed. And it was something that's looking forward to that. That's what I want to hear from people.
Hold on a minute. Give us a few minutes. We'll let the board speak. That's all right. And we'll allow the public whatever time you need to speak. That won't be a problem. That's okay.
That's
And tell us a little bit about your business. What are you producing there?
Yeah, so the goal is to produce vodka whiskey. What we're envisioning initially is a schoolhouse, a tasting room, and a bar. We're all dog themed. Everything is going to be dog themed. That is what the schoolhouse is. The production building, which is the large building where everything will. Production building was found quarantined. Where the equipment still the cookers, the mash tunnel. That's where it will be. That's where we will follow. And kind of need to replace so a larger, more restaurant type, where phase one in schoolhouse is going to be minimal food or food trucks, or both. Because it's not a huge, so it'll be very minimal, but the phase two is, as the community really embraces it, then phase two is a larger, seating area, more of a restaurant type to give it skills, and, obviously more. That's kind of phase two. The intent is really for tasting, we're going to offer tours. That's how you get on the facility. To offer tours to show everybody where the community.
Our business, lion's share of our business is doing that. Across the state.
Are you in that business already right now? Distillery business?
No.
Okay, okay.
I'm in diagnostic sales, less sales, moving equipment, caterpillar. Kevin works for Abbott.
Even if given all the divergences, how many parking spaces can you put on this property?
So with this schematic, it 31. We haven't nailed down the builder because obviously we're not like we're not a developer. We don't have deep pockets. We can't commit to, the engineers with a lighting plan until we know this. So, once that happens, the builder will finalize. We want to, maximize. That's not an all. This first pass is 31.
No.
So what is your construction start date? Are you looking at?
So we are seeking an SBA loan. So that process is 30 to 60. The construction would start once we have the GC. As soon as we have the lending, we're going to contract.
Okay.
We're going to have that made in the SBA process.
October. Okay. So then that way you wouldn't have to get a bat survey. Okay, because I'm assuming you guys don't have a Indiana bat survey at this time, correct? Okay. Yeah.
Not even sure what it is, to be honest.
So since we have a wetland area here, you would fall under the Indiana bat survey. So, but if you do in October, you're in that window, October to end of March, that you don't have to get one. So.
Yeah, I don't see it starting before.
They're hibernating.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be in that window.
Yeah.
Because October would be the absolute early.
Okay.
So, sort of in that vein, civil issues. Touch a little bit upon, there's wetlands, ravines, things of that nature. So you do have a civil engineer? Okay, because he's gonna have to work with the county to get your grading, your parking, your drainage, all of that approved. And for some sites, that takes considerable time before you can even start construction.
We actually do have this
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
and that's actually the gentleman.
Okay, because that's one area some people forget that they have to. I mean, that's honestly that's your most expensive the deal. Yeah.
So if you're doing a parking lot, and doing that first catch basin in the new closed parking lot, and storm.
Okay. Yeah. No, it does. So I guess on the signage, you're looking at about 20, 25 foot sign. I know you're offset a little bit, so it is kind of hard to.
Yeah, we're looking at putting signs, so the plan right now has either inside that glass door.
Yeah.
So that's, and also for delivery of such stuff. So we want to put the sign above the glass. That's where that approximate height. Obviously, we know that. That would be above the 15.
So you're not having any signage out by the road.
We will, but we've not even, we had a builder, we didn't even want to go that route, but we do want to have a sign that road.
Realize that's a whole.
Yeah, that's a yeah. Just so you guys are aware.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's
That's the schoolhouse.
that's the production facility behind this.
So the schoolhouse is the.
Right, the white building there, yeah.
And so actually, yeah, it kind of be covered a bit by.
Yeah, so that's sort of what I'm questioning about its location. I drive up, I park my car, I see the sign, I'm gonna wanna go to that building, not the schoolhouse.
Yes, we will have definite pedestrian signage there. That will be the main thing.
All right, so that's why I'm questioning why you want the sign there so high and really sort of off kilter.
Well, so that's my drawing.
Okay.
This is clearly not a professional. The intent is to have dogs still kind of verbally, that signs for represent.
Okay, because I would probably have it centered over the door. I also sort of, like I said, have something directing you to schoolhouse, because I think currently there's a Christmas whatever sign there.
There's an art studio sign
Okay.
that's still.
For my time.
Yeah. Well, good question. Yeah. No, yeah, and those are just minor tweaks.
And we are
That's
well
it.
aware of the
Yeah.
sign process and requirements and all that. So, yes, so we do intend to have a sign at the road, and have a sign. We're aware that our studio sign is now, just until we nail down the builder.
I do like the fact that you're utilizing the schoolhouse and not tearing it down, just, bringing part of it. And I think that's probably a big seller to the community, right?
Well, and
That's,
the seller was actually very happy.
Yeah.
So the other thing I sort of question, scroll back, is the lights on the side of the building, on the production side. I know you have one up at the east. I understand the one over the door to try to highlight the door. Generally, I don't like moving variances for lights that are taller, and a lot of times we ask developers for their engineer to do photometrics to make sure there's not light spillage on your neighbors, because I don't want to be driving down the road and get blinded by a light or have it shine in my bedroom, and I don't know how to negotiate that, so maybe Robin, if you have ideas. Because I understand not wanting to pay for the engineering to do the photometrics and to try to figure out the lights.
We absolutely will.
Okay,
We just
okay.
don't have that engineer on board.
Okay,
And the over the garage door is actually honestly also a great approach with that part of the room. So if it's winter and.
yeah, I mean, I understand
Five PM
it
is
over,
dark.
I understand it over the garage door. I don't quite know why you needed the peak of the building, because I'm not sure what it's shining on. And your architect can.
I can see that one going away, the one over the door.
So, and yeah, and have your architect work on your signage. The concern being, as a commission, we don't just give a blanket variance. We want to know heights and sizes and locations, before we're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Because we don't know what we're getting. We don't know what the neighborhood's getting. It makes it difficult.
And I think maybe in our naivete of not being developers, that would all be nailed down on the that. Our intent is to be like, for all four of us, to give you exactly where that's going to go. Just a matter in terms of height and location. Yes, that is absolutely. One point with the fire marshal.
How much staff is it going to take to run this business?
So initially, and this has limited hours. It's really similar to a lot of the distilleries. It's really Thursday and Friday night, Saturday, Sunday night afternoon. That's really the intent initially, until we start drawing profits.
Okay.
And none of us are leaving our full-time jobs, so we're going to have to.
Yeah.
Have you applied for your license?
You cannot till we own the property. As soon as the loan closes and the property is closed, then we'll immediately talk about that.
How close are you to the closing?
So we just entered the SBA.
Okay, so the whole property.
So 30 to 60 days is the process, and the seller's ready to close. So right now, we're on a contingency.
The financing is not contingent. Finance contingent upon.
So we're looking at hours, let's say on a Friday night. So your hours are.
So we're looking Thursday, like correct me if I'm wrong, 5 to 10, Friday 5 to midnight, Saturday noon to midnight, Sunday noon.
Okay. And again, pardon me, but trying to see where the lighting is for the parking lot. It's low lighting. I don't think it's on there, is it? Okay, I just was trying to see where the lighting was. Because, of course, if you're going to be, for your parking lot, you definitely want lighting just for safety of your customers. So it could be low grade lighting.
Sorry, my page numbers were wrong.
So right now, there's on the
Would
north side, there's 3 large lamps. I'm sure that's not. Those will, if the parking lot takes over, those will. And then we will add, I thought it was a bit code as to how much we have.
Yeah.
But absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
I'm curious of the distillation waste. Where does that go?
So we're actually going to try to find local, actually farmers would take what that match. So they can feed it their cattle or whatever. So our goal, similar to what I was saying for us, in a local farmer that comes to trash, our goal is to put a little in trash as possible. Hope to recycle.
So that actually brings up, I see you have a proposed dumpster, which will be off of your parking lot, or your future parking lot?
Yeah. Currently, it sits back by the garage.
Okay. So I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. So that's where the dumpster would be. Generally, we need like an enclosure.
Yeah.
And the other concern I would have is in your location, critters, being attracted to it. I'll just. I will
Our
just.
plan is obviously to have rodent traps all on the outside because
Yeah.
That's,
they're gonna get credit.
that's why I'm bringing it up. About that's something we usually try to be considerate of in terms of your neighbors and potential issues.
Absolutely. Yeah, we wanna be cognizant, like, you know, like, that's, wanna be good. Product by not having critical, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of is both sides of it. We don't want them any more than anybody wants them. We want to problem it.
And that's all. Ask. I said I've asked all I needed to ask. I don't know.
Problem with what we're approving tonight or disapproving, whatever, deciding tonight is the rezoning of this from this Christmas to
Correct.
potentially its facility. All the details as far as the structure, the parking, that has to follow the code, or is that gonna come back?
It would have to follow the code unless they request a divergence for it.
So are we making a decision on the? I see Sundown requested.
Yes.
Yes.
Sundown recommended.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, because the property is unusable
Yeah.
for their business without those
Without those divergent.
without those divergences.
Yeah.
And so that's, I guess, what I'm concerned about. I have no problems with the setback, plat, divergences because the property is unusable without them based on our current zoning code. So I have no problems with those divergences. The divergences I have problems with are sort of the open-ended one in terms of the lighting and in terms of the signage. So I don't know if it's possible to just look at the divergences that we're comfortable with and say that you have to follow code or come back for a variance, or how would that happen?
So the commission has kind of, if you are recommending approval, you have two options, and we will also get to public comment.
Okay.
So one is just recommending straight approval with everything as it's written, or you can recommend approval with modifications. And so that would be, you saying to the Orange Township Board of Trustees, hey, we in general we recommend approval of this, but here are the modifications that are conditional for that approval. Or if you do not wish to go for approval tonight, we can continue the hearing and give the applicant time to resubmit things to your liking, and we can have another hearing in 2 weeks or however long that takes.
I don't know if that person agree with it, but like I said, we just assume that we have to follow. If you weren't comfortable saying, I don't want to agree to the lighting, I don't think about that. Our intent is to follow.
I think that's where the board's probably gonna be for both those.
And that's-
Because I don't think either one, signage or lighting, we would feel comfortable leaving open-ended. I think that would be generally true.
Yeah, or you could go conditional. Yeah.
Yeah, if they had an idea where they needed to go with that.
I mean, our
yes.
intent is to totally submit all plans, all schematics, all to the T, so like, whatever you guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of possibilities. We still need to hear from the rest of the
Yeah,
commission.
I was gonna say
And the public to
And the
see
public,
what
yes,
their,
thank you.
Yeah. The
um,
public. Yep.
and then we will figure out
Termination, yeah.
how to move on from there.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, any other further questions from the board?
No.
All right, we'll open this up to everyone that showed up. Thank you very much. Would like to your name and address And also like that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. And please, if you can, try not to duplicate those comments. If somebody's already made the same one you're going to make, just consider it that was done. Thank you very much. First one, come up, name and address, please.
My other question is, well, actually, that may be a question for Kevin. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's one. Exactly. So the ventilation, the HVAC, apart from well, like just say I did. That's how old. It's not just, okay. That's what I'm saying. So address that, so there's beer and then there's beer. So, yeah. So basically the same. That's where we're really looking at. We're a small craft store. We're not, you know, we're like a Budweiser per beer or I mean. Well, it's gonna scale up, but we're looking at, I mean, I don't know. Here, we're really, let's see.
Depends on the other, so. So it might have. Also, you could be.
Most of the water will So the water requirement is more. Water boiled off or all the actual water.
I'll tell you what, that's kind of was my issue when I first heard about this. It's kind of why I asked about parking spots. I I think these folks are going to grow this business. So yes, and that could present a problem, but. Galaxy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How far away of the walk will that be from their business? You haven't seen it, so you don't know. Not even yeah.
Do something similar to,
Yeah. Yeah.
We know they're gonna have
Well, Senator,
their driveway would be
it is not something that is, no, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we looked at that, yes, make sure it wasn't.
Thank you.
It did.
Just a question, is there anyone local that's producing on the size that you anticipate being, or approximately your size, so that?
We would just say,
So-
I mean, Watershed's much larger than we are. High Banks is larger. I don't know if anybody's been in Noble Cut.
Noble Cut,
Is probably the most similar. I don't know if anybody's.
they're in Gahanna, Noble Cut in Gahanna. Who's that? Down by Watershed. Echo Spirits could be
Spirits,
one.
yeah.
They're located down by Watershed. And we've spent quite a bit of time with Greg Lehman from Watershed. He's been very generous trying to help us. This industry, craft spirits industry in general, has been very helpful. Everybody wants to try and help one another, right? So we spent quite a bit of time looking at all the other distilleries. We'll be the only one in Delaware County.
Do any of you live near this?
Yes, we all do.
Next person would like to speak.
My name is Vincent Chu. I own the house at the corner of Bell Canyon and Paulo. What I'm thinking is, what's the traffic pattern of the building?
Yeah, we looked at the traffic studies that were already done, and there was one, we published it in our application. We were more concerned about the traffic that's going to be generated by the $150 million development going across the street. I didn't think that the traffic that we're going to draw would be able to even come close to the traffic.
But the 150 million, the entrance might not be in Powell Road.
Yes, there will be an entrance off of East Powell Road.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean that's not the major.
No, that's not the main entrance.
The major entrance is on Gemini.
Correct.
Yeah. So you know that street is 45 miles.
Yes.
And then you are in the middle of the road. So if somebody want to turn in, it will be, dangerous, for somebody, driving that fast. I've been driving that road every day. I know how fast the people drive. So if you have to stop and turn, if you have a lot of people every day like this, there will be a lot of accident going. Don't you think?
And we're looking at also reaching out to the folks doing the Galaxy, because what we want to make sure is, where is their entrance? Where does it make sense? do we need to change our entrance to help with the traffic flow to make it safe?
The only thing I can think of, you have to, drive through driveway, not one driveway, double
Right.
driveway.
Yeah, and we've discussed that. Yeah, we're gonna let the professionals.
The only thing that, I drive that road every day. I know how fast the people drive.
Yeah, and
So,
I think with the driveway setup, I think we can only have that. It's within there's not 500 feet in between the two driveways. So I think we're kind of stuck with that one driveway.
Yeah, a lot of this is gonna be issued, by, county traffic.
Yeah.
Not us.
Yeah, we can't make those decisions,
Yeah, the
unfortunately, on
county,
the roads. Yeah.
dictate, I don't even know what PAL, if it's DOT or county, or what the jurisdiction is.
I think that one's county because this is where the city of Columbus has some say in this also.
Exactly,
So
because
that traffic
they
pattern.
have the,
Yeah.
galaxy. So that is gonna be dictated, your engineer is gonna have to work with the county, in terms of access to your site, and make sure, what's going across the street, works together, with the community as well, to make sure, that
And
It's
there's access.
multi-use over there, so that takes on some other different traffic patterns because you're when you have multi-use.
yeah, and then you're going to manufacture beer too?
No.
No beer. Only wine.
No wine.
No, just
Gin.
vodka with just spiritus liquor is the classification.
So you're going to build a new building behind that, right? To do that.
And that's where everything will be produced. Yeah. And regarding the traffic, I mean, our anticipation based on the Galaxy coming in is that we are not going to be increasing the traffic. I would love to say we're going to be like the hottest spot in town. When we say bar, I would love to say that, but I really don't think we're going to be. When we say bar, it's not like you go to what everybody thinks of as a bar. It's a place for tastings and spirituous drink. It's not, it's not going to draw the traffic that a full restaurant with like a TGI Fridays. It's really, those that really are interested in the craft spirit industry. They want a tour. They want to see the process. If we grew to that, we'd be looking, and it's in our business plan, off-site, as another location that would be a much larger piece of land, and that we're really trying to take advantage of the popular area that Polaris is, that there's no distillery in Delaware County, that this is really kind of a destination specialty spot, for lack of a better word, only open on the weekends, just there for the community to give them something else that's different than what else is on Polaris. To us, the location is perfect because it lends itself to
This
that.
is going to be your first venture or?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It might be difficult to get license.
Could be.
Could be.
And then also, about the trash, the truck, trash truck. How are they going to back up the driveway like this?
Well, they already had a dumpster for their previous businesses, so I assume since
But their business is a lot less, refuge.
right. But if the concern is that it can't back up, I would assume that it does. And we're going to work with the trash company to make sure that the plan to where to put the dumpster is going to be a feasible location that they can get to it. Obviously, that's what the engineer will.
And then also, you said that they open until midnight. If it's just a spiritual, it should not be open until midnight, isn't it? Until midnight, you open until midnight.
Right.
So obviously, it's the regular bar, right?
Well,
It's open at midnight.
We'll be serving cocktails, but Friday nights, Saturday nights, Thursday nights, that's when people go out. They want to enjoy an after dinner drink, so we just want to have the hours that are going to accommodate, what the community wants.
So initially, you do the building first, and then the bar will be later down the road, right? Or immediately.
Yeah. Initially, while we're building, we may open the retail shop. So we may sell T-shirts while the construction's going on, just to be able to pay back the loan. But yes, absolutely, it'll be a tasting tour kind of thing will be the focus when we open, so that you can taste the product that you may want to buy.
Yep. The only thing I worry is the traffic pattern because of the bar.
And I believe the Galaxy is also planning on restaurants with bars
Yeah,
in
but
them already.
they have big entrance on the other side.
Yes,
So, all right.
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else?
Alice Cooper, 3745 East Powers. I'm actually right next door. We're not real thrilled with this whole idea. If you were next where we're at, would you want that?
I think if it were done right, I mean, this is, unless you're familiar with the small craft distilleries, I can see it, it's probably seems much more intimidating than it is.
You guys live out, sorry, in the country, Centerville, you're.
Yes.
Right? Think about that. I think that's a good point.
No, I absolutely do. I'm just honestly, no, absolutely.
I think, after talking with Mr. Kersey, had he sold his property to the gas stations that wanted to come in, there'd been the schoolhouse was going to be torn down and the gas station was going to go in on that property. So as a point of alternative, I'd maybe rather have us there than the gas station. But I can't answer that. I don't live where you live, so I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not going to try and put my feelings where yours are. We want to be good neighbors to you. We want to do everything we can to alleviate your concern as best as we can. But we also want to do this. So,
And I mean, who's going to regulate that? Because you're obviously serving liquor, and there's going to be all kinds of people going in there. Who knows what they're going to end up in our property? There, especially staying open till midnight. There's going to be obnoxious, people. Who's regulating that?
yeah.
Well, I mean, the industry itself is obviously highly regulated. We are going to be very responsible. We're not planning to overserve a single person. We have no problem telling somebody you're done here. That's not the intent of this. This is not for somebody to come spend hours at this location. In fact, we don't want them to spend hours, because if they spend hours, that's not so much money. If a new guy were coming in and getting a new tasting, right? I mean, it's just that area just seems to be developing so fast. Just as a business owner, going across from Galaxy, which has the restaurants, which has that, it's just a great
That's
location.
down the street, so that doesn't bother me at all. Galaxy doesn't, but this is right at our home. So
We actually want people to come and leave quickly, and here's why: we want them to come and buy a bottle and leave, because they're not allowed to consume that bottle on our property. That's the premise behind our business model. We really don't want people sitting there for hours. We don't want
just
that.
one more.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I've been a victim of that.
Yeah, but to Wes's point, you can't buy a bottle at this location and drink it. The bottles that you buy are off premise. You can't, legally, you cannot drink them. So this is, tastings of, I want to taste what your vodka tastes like to know if I want to buy a bottle or I want to enjoy a cocktail.
But how many glasses? Maybe not a bottle, but.
Oh, no, right. So the tastings are highly regulated as well. They can have 4 half-ounce tastings per person. That's it. What's that?
They can only have 4 of them?
If you're doing a tasting is regulated by the federal
If they
government.
want to buy and drink.
If they want to drink, yes.
How many drinks can they buy?
I don't know that that's.
It's a bar.
It's a bar, yeah. I mean, obviously there's.
So they can be here as long as they want.
They could, but we don't have to serve them. You know what I mean?
Just like
We're not gonna.
it's a regular.
All bars.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's a cocktail bar, absolutely, but it's the bartender's responsibility to stop serving. And we have zero intention of not being completely responsible bartenders. We're not over serving anybody. And we have no problem. So that's really a bartender's job. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, no, and it's, the craft distillery, those drinks are not cheap typically, so it's not really somewhere you'd want to go if you're trying to get drunk, that you're gonna find much.
It's not a dive bar.
is what.
Yeah, there's, yes, exactly.
There's people who have these windows in that area. I'm not trying to be argumentative.
Oh, no, I appreciate all your comments.
You're not a bar. I mean, yes, you
Thank
are a
you.
bar. You can have.
Oh, we're not saying we're not a bar, we're not your
This
typical.
could go on forever. Thank
Go
you for
have
your
a, you know,
comments. I think
dollar.
we all understand, we understand your position. Yeah, thank you very much for your comments. We understand your position.
Thanks.
Another question for you. You said that, you know, if you store alcohol in the facility, would you attract a lot of robbery, thief, break in, day at night, and that kind of stuff?
We will have a full security system with cameras and everything, and that's actually
Yeah,
required.
but that,
They, you know, I mean, the barrel of Curtis liquor weighs 500 pounds. No, but your point is valid. You know, we will have to, when we build a production facility, have a certain type of lockable window, a lockable door, separate rooms with fire code, the 3-hour burn rate, right? So, I mean, you can try to get in, maybe. That's the best I can do. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the federal government
I'm
actually,
just talking about normal circumstances. In any city, that you have a bar, you know, you attract robbery, thief, breaking, all kind of.
yeah, the difference with a bar that serves versus a production facility for liquor, the federal government actually dictates the type of locks for the windows, the doors, what we have to have. Because obviously it is more product than a bar would have, right? To Wes's point, the barrels and that. So it's not like an easy break-in. I mean, it's going to be have the system. It's going to be video monitored. It's going to have the locks that are federally required.
Now, I used to own a drugstore. The way they get in
Oh, they'll get in anywhere they can.
from the roof.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Any other comments?
Does the township have hour limits for, or they couldn't stay open until 3 in the morning if they wanted to, or is there no rule for that?
We do not have regulations.
We don't want to. We're old.
I know, I understand that. Let's say down the line, 20 years from now, you sell a place, and someone young and hip wants to open till 5 in the morning, have all these.
Well, and that's regulated by the state. They
That's
can't.
regulated by the industry.
And
generally.
by the state, you can't serve after a certain hour, so. Yeah.
Any other public comments?
I do have a question. I'm getting a feeling that there will be a Galaxy entrance on East Powell Road. Is that going to be right beside my property?
It certainly could be.
That's actually City of Columbus.
Yeah, it is City Columbus.
Yeah, the Galaxy is
It's not-
annexed to City of
I
Columbus.
understand that. I am the very next property. Is that a driveway that's going to go right by my property?
I honestly would, if it was me, I would look into the plans, because the plans may impact you. That's the City of Columbus. You can go in and see what was approved on that. It's a pretty big complex. Yeah.
So, but I'm saying there's a pretty big area that I know is Columbus there now, right between the nursery school and my house.
Yeah.
Is that where the I'm building a driveway?
There's some plans online, not like the official plans, but they're schematics. But if I could just note, I mean, we understand, we appreciate.
I'm not talking about your business.
Oh, no, I know you, I
I'm
know.
talking about the fact that when I moved in 1990.
Oh, I know.
They built the amphitheater and diminished the property.
And now you have
of
Top
my
Golf.
home. And now.
Right, no, I understand.
It's new.
Right. I just wanna let you all know, we're open to conversations beyond tonight. We're completely transparent, you know.
Do you
I'll be-
typically make
I'm not legally allowed to say, but but no, I mean, seriously, we'll be happy to give you our emails, our phone numbers for any questions that come up, and we can absolutely keep you posted with any plans and come to you and say, you know, this is what we're planning. Do you have concerns? We have zero problem involving you in this whole process if it gets approved. Absolutely. I mean, we're transparent people.
We appreciate that. Thank you,
Any
guys.
other comments from the public that's shown up? Thank you very much. All right, we'll close those. Any other comments, questions? from the board?
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is it, time?
Is there any type of environmental view, or that's just part of the industry's story part? Waste and that sort of thing. How much waste is being produced and that sort of thing. Environmental requirements,
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, the site will have environmental review from the
Yeah.
county in terms of wetlands. It's Allen Creek, it's part of the Allen Creek watershed.
Part of the watershed. So it's definitely, it's highly regulated by the EPA through there.
So I presume they'll take into consideration
Yeah.
any waste that's produced.
Yeah, they have to do a SWEP and everything through there. So, and you guys haven't even bought the property yet, so you don't even have a SWEP plan in place. So,
Yes,
yeah.
your civil engineer will have to work with the county and requirements and environmental issues.
Yes.
That, and then the only other thing that might occur is since the schoolhouse is from 1870, there's no telling when you start rebuilding the site, you might find.
Yeah.
We're aware.
Okay, yes. I would like to say, please be understanding if you find some sort of cultural artifact, please contact the appropriate authorities.
We're aware.
Okay.
Can I just ask one more question? Yeah. How does the process work? At this point, there's a hearing here, so where does it go from here?
So this is a recommending body. Once the zoning commission issues their recommendation, there will be another public hearing with a very similar format with the Orange Township Board of Trustees, and they have the final determination to approve or deny the rezoning request. Beyond that, once they get into should that be approved through the Board of Trustees, there's permitting that they'll have to do with Delaware County for all the engineering, and then they'll have to get the zoning permit through Orange Township, and then eventually their building permit with the county as well.
And it's perhaps important to say that right now this is a tweak in zoning from, the Christmas shop, although it's not a shop anymore, from what was a planned commercial to another planned commercial. Generally, this board, if something's zoned commercial, we can't pick and choose what commercial thing's going in there. We can't, say, oh, we don't want a gas station if it falls under commercial. We don't want a fast food if it follows under commercial. We can't discriminate against types of businesses. We can just determine whether or not, it works within what zoning allows. So we have to look at things like that. I don't know if Dennis, if you want to state that better.
Nope, I think that was stated perfectly. Thank you, Thank you, Christine. I think that was valuable on this spot. Any other comments or questions? I move that we approve zoning resolution ZON-23-02, that they meet the requirements for signage and the requirements for lighting, unless you want to come back for any variance. Those are still critical to us. I think that's a difficult piece of property. Where only half of it's really usable, which is why the variance is just to create enough room for parking and make it usable. I'm not sure if this again, as Christina just said, we don't get to choose what commercial is there. I think this is a good business for this opportunity as a tasting facility and what these folks intend to do. Again, I move that we approve this.
With modifications.
Okay, and can staff have some clarity on precisely what those modifications are?
Well, just with respect to the signage and the lighting, is that they either meet code or they would have to come back for the.
Okay, so you would like to recommend approval with modifications, the two modifications being that the applicant, that the divergences for signage and lighting not be approved.
Exactly.
That's
no divergences for signage or lighting. That needs to be code, or they need to come back,
I need to come back.
but
Show what they have.
yeah, but divergences in terms of setbacks and plat requirements and things of that nature
Okay.
are acceptable because of the difficult conditions of the site.
It looks like staff comment, right, the lighting.
But I believe, did they not resubmit a lighting plan to you?
So there was a lighting plan that was submitted, however, it does not have all the details that we really need for that lighting.
Okay. No.
So in terms of photometric light spillage on the neighbors, things of that nature, you need to follow the code. And that's to protect you all so you don't have lights shining in your bedroom at night or whatever. And like Dennis said, it's zoned commercial. The township comprehensive land use plan has it as a commercial use. We can't choose the commercial use. My personal feeling is that this would be better than a gas station or a Quickie Mart or something of that nature, fast food. But that's my personal opinion.
Need a second.
I second it.
All right, give me 1 minute just to get the language
I lost
correct here.
track of
No,
it.
that's okay.
Lost track of the motion. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. McNulty moved to approve application ZON-23-02 with modifications. The modification being the zoning commission does not recommend approval of the divergences from sections 21.12C and 22.03C for site lighting and signage. Motion was seconded by Mr. Beer. Mr. McNulty?
Yes.
Mr. Bellis?
Yes.
Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Pierce?
No.
Motion carries.
Anything else, Robin?
I believe there are some minutes for your approval on the agenda. So we have 3 sets of minutes from December 12th, February 21st, and March 28th.
And I think they're excused, right? If
Yeah.
they would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't have to stay around for this, the boring minutes.
Thank you very much.
And I appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you so much. And I do say, if you guys, I would recommend you look into the Galaxy complex, because that does impact you. So.
Robin, do you have a contact with the city of Columbus that would have that information?
I do. Yeah.
I'm sure I could find somebody, but no, not
Christina Parody with the city.
We'll be able to do that, so it won't make any difference.
If I wouldn't have known, I would have brought that plan. I've seen them.
But you're not gonna complain to the city of Columbus about meeting minutes of December 12th. Anyone have any comments or any changes?
Nope.
I wasn't there, so I can't make a determination. So.
You can do either. You can make a motion to approve all 3 sets, or you can make motions to approve.
All right, well, let's just do all 3. Does anybody have any comments on February 21st? or
No.
March 28th? Nope. Let's make this easy. I move that we approve all of the meeting minutes from December 12th, February 2022, February 21st, 2023, and March 28th, 2023.
Need a second. Ms. Foster? Mr. McNulty?
Yes.
Mr. Bellis?
Yes.
Mr. Beard?
Yes.
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Pierce? Motion carries.
Who seconded that?
And yeah, we have no further business other than personnel. So you have now met Pam Foster, who is the newest regular member of the commission. Unfortunately, Sierra Harris resigned a few months back. She had to go back to the office for work. She was previously working from home. And then Andrew Koenig is our new-ish zoning inspector. Andrew started in January. So this is our vacation.
Okay, do we have an update on the rewriting of, and when do we get a?
Yeah, so it's been a slow process. There's no time.
So, I mean, that's